Welcome to another Keepsake Craft. My name is Alisha, and today's craft is going to be a wooden block photo puzzle. This is a great craft. It's very customizable. One of the things I like about it, you can make it as detailed or as simple as you like. You can choose one photo. You can choose 6 photos. You can leave the blocks unfinished. You can paint them. You can decoupage. You can do whatever you want with it, whatever fits your style. It's also a great craft to include like teens and older kids on. So it's a good thing to do during the summer when you're home and you need something to do. So we are using 1-inch unfinished wood blocks. I just ordered these off the internet. You can find them at craft stores as well. You're gonna need a paintbrush or a foam brush, a cutting tool, some sandpaper, paint, optional if you decide not to use it, but paint, some Mod Podge, or probably even just PVA glue would work as well. And if you choose to use it, you're gonna want some decorative paper to decoupage, and also you're gonna want photocopies of your photos. Don't use your originals. Please don't destroy your original photos. My finished product has color copy photos, but my extra is black and white, so that's what we're gonna use. So these wooden blocks, they come finished, but sometimes they have blemishes on them. So it's good to just start out, sand them on each side, smooth it out. So I'm gonna use 16 wooden blocks. I'm doing a 4x4 puzzle. To help hold them together, I've put a rubber band around it. If you want to paint or decoupage, well, the paint especially, if you're gonna paint, I would do that first. I've used a metallic paint, so before I put my metallic paint, I did a base coat of black because it just helps the metallic paint pop. I'm gonna just show you with these plain wooden blocks because they're already put together. When you get around to decoupaging your photo, with your blocks together, and the rubber band really helps keep it together when you do your decoupage, you're brushing glue over it. It's gonna keep everything together. Get a nice even coat over the surface. Center your photo and burnish it down over the whole surface. Helps to have a little tool, especially the edges and the corners. You're gonna set this aside to dry. You want to give this plenty of time to dry. When you're planning this craft, give yourself plenty of time, especially if you're gonna decoupage more than one side. You wanna give every side a chance to dry so it's adhered, really stuck on there. Because when it comes time for it, when it's set, all the adhesive is set, you're gonna use your cutting tool and cut in between the blocks. You could cut this ahead of time if you have like a cutting board or just a ruler and a craft blade. You could cut it in the little 1-inch squares ahead of time if that works for you. I just found that this worked best for me. So here's one, mostly finished. I got my painted sides. I have all my other sides decoupaged with the decorative paper. I'm using 2 different photos. And here's my side that's all dry, ready to cut apart. Okay, I'm gonna choose the painted side so I can see where the edges are. And you'll probably see why I emphasized giving it plenty of time to dry, because at some of these corners the paper is coming up. So make sure you use plenty of adhesive and give it plenty of time to dry. Maybe put something heavy on top of it to weigh it down while it dries. If you don't let things dry before you put it together, you're gonna end up where spots stick together like this. Another important thing about giving it plenty of time to dry is you'll see in some of these places where I tried to cut it apart too soon and like my paper tore a little because it was wet with adhesive still. I've also noticed when it comes to cutting things apart, because the blocks can be really snug against each other. So when it comes time to cut, sometimes it's kind of hard. So once you get them into pieces like this, you can, let's try with this one, you can fold your brick over and put it back down, and it kind of gives you a crease line and it gives you an idea of where to cut. And I found that to be really helpful when it came time to cut these apart. Okay, so there they are, all cut apart. On my finished product, I sanded all the sharp corners of my bricks, of my blocks. I think it just kind of gives it a nice finish, but it also helps tidy up some of the edges where you cut the decoupage apart. You sand the edges. That'll take away some of the paper on the edge. It'll take away some of the paint on the painted sides. But it's going to help clean that up a little bit. Might also help clean some any adhesive that gathered up on the corners. Help sand that away. And you don't want to sand away too much because you don't want to ruin your image, but I think it just helps pull it together a little in the end. You want to wipe away any of the grit left over from your sandpaper. And then your last step for each block is to give it another coat of Mod Podge just to seal it. You can do this on all the sides, painted side, all your decoupage sides. And then again, give it plenty of time to dry, all 6 sides, to seal it in. Once you've given it plenty of time to dry, you can put it all together and you'll have a neat little way to display a family photo. Thanks for joining us for another Keepsake Craft, and we hope to see you again.